11 years ago, 3 years into studying physics, I suddenly got tired of studying physics. And at the risk of dropping out. Anyway, I didn't drop out eventually. I managed to graduate. As long as you don't ask me what I graduated with. But at that point, I started having some thoughts within me because I was doing physics because I could not get engineering and because my parents wanted me to be a doctor, and the other option that they could allow me to do closely was engineering. But engineering didn't work, so here is me doing physics electronics because I was told it is the closest thing to electrical and electronics engineering, which is quite interesting. I did love it anyway. It's just that there was a bit of chemistry as part of it. But so that got me thinking, I was doing those things so that everyone would be happy. I wasn't asking myself, are there things I could have done for myself that would make me happy and possibly make every other person happy? Now trying to run around the future. In most cases, when we hear the future, people have three kinds of emotions. And maybe you can start thinking about that today. People have hope because they believe that things are going to be better. People have faith because of that belief that is part of the hope. But again, people are also afraid because they are not sure if the new things are going to make things better. And every time we talk about the future, the natural thing that comes to mind is the next best thing that would happen. And usually it is not linear because time continues, but each of us live in our own different futures. I might be living in your future now because Europe is living in the future of Nigeria right now when it comes to the internet. So it then means that we can't have a collective future. We can't wake up and say there can be one future city for all of us tomorrow because Port Harcourt is living in the future of cities like Owerri and Bayelsa. They are looking to be like this. This is their next level. And Port Harcourt is working very hard to look like New York and co. Right? So, and in talking like that, I need to move back to my presentation. I want to show you the kind of cities that we expect, the kind of work, the kind of people we expect that should be in our future. We expect people who work on the move. We expect people who are working from home. We expect people who can work from anywhere because we feel that technology has made that possible, right? And we also expect people who can work at whatever time they feel like, which is where you hear people come together now to talk about things like digital jobs, online work, cities trying to be resilient, creating enough infrastructure so that people can be able to work from anywhere. But what is at the crust of all these things? What is at the crust of building this kind of city? It is humans, it is people, it is individuals. And what do you prepare these individuals with? It is education. And the kind of education that we get now is the education that tells you to do what? Work. 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 Keep working. The traditional thinking is, I finish university, I get a very good government job, and I get pension just before the pension reforms. Now, and you continue like that, and then you grow old, and you hope that you have kids who eventually are smart at school and get the same job, and it keeps going. And you are doing all of this because the society has said you have to work so you can be able to earn money. And you're doing all of this because society has says you have to be earning salaries or do some work to be paid for it. Right? But I'd like to introduce you guys to one new concept, which I call self-community. Now, if we can individually live in our own kind of future city, when you're building your own city as an individual, that your city of the future, that your city of what you think it should be in the next couple of months, in the next couple of weeks, then you should be thinking about yourself. And in this case, I am not trying to promote selfishness, but selfishness is good, by the way. So, when I say self-community, what it means is, how do I love myself so much that I do things that I love to do, but at the same time, it benefits everybody? Now, when you go to a lot of corporations and they try to talk about developing the individual, when they develop the individual, they're developing the individual in a situation that will help grow the company. It would help grow the company, but at the end of the day, the individual is trying to do some things that they probably don't want to do. This is not exactly them. This is not what they love doing, right? The same way when you go to school, you're trying to do courses, you're trying to learn things that will make every other person happy, that will keep the peace of everywhere. But let's think about this. Let's move to the last slide, please. So let's think about this scenario. First of all, you know yourself very well. And in this case, I get to understand myself. I know the things I like. I know the things I have to do. I know the things I want to do. I know the things I can do. That is number one. And the second one is that I love myself so much that I'm not going to let you push me into places where I don't want to go, or take me to things that I am not thinking in my own kind of future and time. And in all this, I am deferring my gratification. What do I mean by deferring my gratification? It means that whatever I'm doing here, I am thinking about how it will look like when I take it to the next stage of my life. And let's just use a very simple example of working. So you are an employer. Assuming that you just do every work you take in your life, every time you take a job in your life, you're taking it because of personal interest, because of your selfish interest. And what is that selfish interest? The selfish interest means that it is how well you do your job here that will take you to your next job. And you would agree with me that people don't hire you. When you hear we're looking for 5 years experience, 10 years experience, it's because they want to see how successful you were in where you were before. So now, think about you now doing everything you do at your job for selfish interest. What does it mean? You will then make sure you succeed in every project you're doing. Why? Not because you want to make your boss happy, not because you want to earn money for your current company, but because you want something that you can present in your next port of call, since you are always thinking about the future. Some of us always live in the future. So every job I have taken in my life, I've always taken them because I know that it's leading me to the next good one. It is not because it's a lucrative job. Don't get me wrong, I like the money too. I'm sure you've seen my name. So, I'm taking it because it's taking me to the next spot. And you will also find it quite interesting that even as a student, when you take up every new job, people want to find out, were you doing anything? I mean, you're a fresh graduate, agreed. You just left school, but they want to find out, was there anything you did before that we can lay our hands on, that we can say this will be beneficial to us? So while I try to end here, I'd like to ask you to start thinking today. Start moving your selfishness to a community point and start learning that whatever you want to do today, that you're doing it because of your next port of call. Except, of course, you don't want to have your own individual future city. Thank you.